Hey Jan, it's me, Jerry. I know like my hair looks different, from what you expected, or anybody that's tuning in, what they expected. I used to usually, if you check my Instagram, or if you're active on Instagram, you would see that I used to have long hair for a good couple of months. The reason for that being is because, I had that long hair, when I was with my ex-girlfriend, and she would always like touch my hair, brush my hair, and it just, I had, a lot of, it was reminiscent of, every time I touched my hair, it was, very reminiscent, of her, and, it just makes me, remember her. And so that's why I didn't cut my hair, because if I adjusted anything, it feels like I lost a part of her, which is sounds ridiculous, but when you went through, a toxic breakup, that's what happens. You really want to, be away from this person, but but deep down you really want to be with this person. It's just very confusing. But after that incident, I just didn't cut my hair. I let it grow long, and I guess part of the reason I let it grow long is because I didn't want to put myself in another relationship. I wanted to look much ugly as possible, because even my grandma was like saying that, oh my god, you look like a hobo. You look like a hobo, just like with like long greasy hair. And so today I decided to cut my hair, mainly because to show that I've moved on, that I moved on from such toxic relationship. And during the time when I had long hair, after I left my ex, I decided to do some soul searching, and by soul searching, I've decided to pick up a new hobby, and the hobby being was film. I had no interest in film prior. My ex she was like a huge like Netflix nerd, HBO Max nerd. She was like all over the place, watched every show on Netflix, that type of girl. And I guess in a sense I decided to join filmmaking was because I felt like I could be a part of her, or like be with her spiritually, if I did some film, which is sounds ridiculous, but that's what I thought at the time. And I went in the Philadelphia film industry as an actor. And it turns out that I couldn't find myself an acting job. Actually I did. It was like for like a Temple University, my college, film school project. But my acting, I guess I would say it was pretty bad. But after that incident, I looked for more job posting online to see if they needed somebody, and I found myself finding this person that was also interested in film, and we connected. At the beginning we had like diverging ideas. He came from a different background, I came from my personal different background, so our ideas didn't go together, and so we worked on a script together. Well, we didn't work on a script. Well, we were trying to write the script together, and basically what happened at the end, I ended up writing the script, and then I let him look at it, and he was like, oh, this is great, we should make a film. So when we did, we hired a cinematographer, we got an audio guy, and so basically we were supposed to, pay half and half, or he's supposed to fund me for this project. He was I guess he was like, this time he was in the producing role. He was supposed to help me find like locations, actors, actresses, and stuff like that. But at the end, a couple of days before production, he decided, to flake out. He decided, he just hit me up. I was talking to him, he talked to me. He was like, sorry, bro. He's like, good luck on this project, bro. I'm not gonna be part of it. And that was that. And he just blocked me. He would just block me on contact. He blocked me on Instagram. So I was left on my own, and I had to, financially fund this film out of my own wallet, every single penny. And the film was like, I believe, $2,000, and I had to do this all by myself. So I guess in a sense, from the period I broke up with my ex, to now, to when I did that film. I feel like I grew up in a sense, because now I've found myself being thrown into this adult world. Adult world. It's not this teenage world. We're like the world from my childhood. You don't have to take that much responsibility, that much pressure, that much stress, and you find out once you're in the adult world, a lot of people can be assholes, and they can get away with that. So what ended up happening was I decided to fund this film by myself. I told myself I'm not a quitter. Once I start something, I have to finish it. So I persevered. I worked my ass off. At a day job. Working at my dad's store. Worked every single day for 10 to 11 hour shift in order to fund this film. Which at the end of the day, I can't believe, after taking the director's role, the screenwriting role, the producer role, all by myself, I was able to make this film, which I'm really excited. But so it was during this time that I, I was on set, that I met somebody. He was my audio person, and turns out he was also an aspiring filmmaker as well. And not only that, he has also an interesting background. He served in the military for 12 years. He also served in Iraq, and he said that because of that long in the military, he developed PTSD. So what happened was we got along pretty well. We got together. We talked and stuff. We talked about our personal background, like dark history or whatever. About my ex, about his ex. So we got along pretty well. And what happened was we decided to work on a script together. We decided to make a film together about like PTSD and stuff like that. And so what ended up happening is we started working together for like a good couple of weeks. And I started writing his scripts and rewriting his scripts. And so basically I was supposed to go to his house to do a meeting with him. And so what happened was I took an Uber to his house, and I knocked on his door, and apparently it turns out that the address that he gave me to his house, it turns out to be the wrong address. It turns out to be his neighbor's. So after knocking on the door for like a good hour, I was told that this is not his house. So I was a little embarrassed. I went to the next door, which is actually his house, and I started knocking. And his lights were still on the inside, and I just, I thought, I knocked a couple of times, waited, knocked, I called, all that, because he told me to call him, when I'm there. But I called and all that, and he didn't answer. So I knocked a couple of times. His cat showed up, so his cat heard me. Then he definitely has to hear me, right? So I knocked, and a couple of times. His cat looks like it was in distress for some reason. I don't know why, and it was like he just kept playing with the doorknob. It was like trying to let me in, but he didn't answer for like 2 hours, and I was kind of like, I got scared. I thought something happened to him, and I thought something happened to him. Waited for another hour, and I just kept knocking on the door. Maybe I thought maybe he was at the end of the room, all the way at the end of the room, and I just knocked, a little harder, and that's when he barged out the door, and he was like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me to bang on my door like that." I was like, "Oh, sorry, I've been waiting here for like 2 hours, and stuff like that." I was like, "I'm sorry, I called you, didn't answer." And he was like, "What makes you think, you deserve a response?" And I was like, "Dude, you told me to come here, I'm doing a script with you, and I've been waiting for 2 hours outside, at least, have the decency to let me in, right? It's a volunteer job, I showed up, volunteering to help you out with this film, and then we got into argument, and then he was like, "Oh no, we're done," and he just slammed the door in my face. Yeah, after waiting for like 2-3 hours outside, for him, he slammed the door in my face, and he said, "We're done." So I had to take an Uber ride home again, and that Uber ride altogether cost me like $100. And I was like really upset when I got home, and it just made me teary. It just started made me cry. Some 35-year-old guy, Army veteran, he just yelled the shit out of me. Because I guess, looking back, I think, since he has PTSD, I guess, that knock kind of like triggered him in some way, unintentionally. And, he barged it. I was really scared, his hands were shaking. He was like, it looks like he's about to throw a fist, right across my face. So like, if, I was scared, if I said anything more, I would have been on the ground, right? So I just can't believe, how this adult world works. People just, can get away with being an asshole. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And, the adult world, they're harsh, they're really harsh, but, I wasn't ready, it sucks that I have to, experience it, in order to learn from my mistakes. That is hard, it's just hard, I put too many, like I said, I put too many eggs, into people's basket, and I don't get anything back. They just walk all over it. So I guess I should be more careful next time. It's just that I'm just shocked, I don't know what I'm gonna be, what I'm gonna do, from like 20 years from now, what kind of people that I'm gonna meet in life. But yeah, it's just that I just felt like throughout this process, in a matter of months, that I grew up in some way. I think I became a full-fledged adult, in some way, after interacting with the adult world.